Good afternoon. My name is Stephanie Lipp, and I am the co-founder of MycoFutures North Atlantic. And 3 years ago, I went from hating mushrooms to loving them. And this change sparked my co-founder and I to deep dive into the world of mycology and start a gourmet mushroom farm in Bonavista. Vista. We saw mushrooms as a solution to major issues like health, food security, and the environment, to name just a few. It became clear to us that mushrooms can change the world. We've been growing mushrooms for 3 years and recently developed a method of using them that will change the fashion industry. Leather production and manufacturing create significant carbon emissions, and there are two major factors. Beef consumption is outpacing the demand for anything but the most premium hides, which results in up to 70% of raw materials sent to the landfill. This has caused a leather shortage that has increased demand for vegan leather, with the market set to grow to $90 billion by 2025. Synthetic leather requires the use of toxic petroleum-based chemicals and takes over 100 years to decompose. Without an increased supply of plant-based alternatives, more and more plastic will be manufactured. Our product is a high tensile luxury material made from mycelium, which is the root structure of fungi, which can be customized like traditional leathers. Growing 1 pound of mycelium generates less than 1 pound of CO2 equivalent emissions. Processing and finishing do not require the use of toxic chemicals or petroleum, and mycelium grows quickly, but more importantly, decomposes quickly, releasing carbon back into soil. MycoFutures North Atlantic is developing a highly durable and sustainable leather alternative for trendsetters and innovators in the fashion industry. This is the material of the future for the designers of the future. Global leather and synthetic leather goods manufacturing is massive, valued at $118 billion. If we bring it down to the value of leather and synthetic leather goods manufacturing in the apparel, footwear, and accessories segment, the value is almost $95 billion. Our target market is Canadian producers of apparel, footwear, and accessories, a market valued at $3 billion. And our beachhead market is a small segment of fashion schools and independent high-end designers in Toronto, Vancouver, and Montreal. We are targeting designers who cater to this ideal customer. They are early adopters, trendsetters, and environmentally conscious, and expect environmental responsibility from the brands they buy from, which is what we are hearing from our industry connections, including a shoe designer at Aldo, the executive director of Indigenous Fashion Week in Toronto, and a leather goods designer in St. John's who cannot wait to get his hands on our product. Our direct competitors are a small number of established companies who are manufacturing mycelium leather alternatives. They've collectively raised over $300 million in venture capital investment, but currently only supply existing partners such as Hermes, Stella McCartney, and Adidas, who are funding the innovation for their own use, which represents less than 1% of future demand. MycoFutures North Atlantic will cater to the Canadian fashion industry and supply local and smaller makers who are eager to make a change. Since starting our gourmet mushroom farm in 2018, Leo and I have become emerging experts in mushroom farming in Newfoundland with interviews in local and national media outlets. Through our participation in Evolution and the inaugural MedTech Readiness Program, we made this major pivot into mycelium leather alternatives. By 2026, we want to be making 2 million square feet of our product per year. To get there, we must complete our MVP, test the material, and scale our processes. We will supply key fashion schools, which will be our initial source of revenue, to receive continuous feedback in a low-risk environment. Major brand partners will allow us to scale up commercial production. I am in charge of business development. I have a background in the fashion industry as a photographer, as well as in business administration and entrepreneurship. My co-founder, Leo, is the cultivation expert, and he has a background in culinary arts, logistics, and health and fitness, which is how he initially became interested in mushrooms. Our team is seeking advisors to assist in directing our initial research projects in the fields of material science engineering, microbiology, and fashion manufacturing. Connect with us at gillisnaturals.com/mycofutures or on Instagram at myceliumofthefuture. Thank you so much for listening.